Can you all please help me in welcoming Dr. Kathy Gruver?
Okay, do I need to use the mic?
Yes.
Do I need to use the mic?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you guys so much for coming. I'm so excited to be here. I've got so much to share with you about stress. So over the course of the next 5 hours, I only have 20 minutes. Okay, I better get going. Okay, never mind then. This slide is blank on purpose. So what I want you guys to do just real quick is just close your eyes and take a big inhale and exhale and then open your eyes. Excellent. I'll do that. Everyone do that? That's good? Okay. Now I want you to do that same breath again. But what I want you to do is really watch that breath. I want you to breathe as if you're watching somebody else breathe. I want you to pay attention to that inhale and that exhale, where that starts and stops, and then there's that brief little pause between the inhale and the exhale. So close your eyes and do that again. Cool. You've basically just meditated. And sometimes all we have time to do is that. So when people would say, take a deep breath and count to 10, yeah, that's what you can do. And in observing that breath, it does a couple of things. It allows us to pause. And that's what this slide is. This blank slide is that pause. And in that pause, there's power. Because that pause allows us to choose whether we're going to respond or whether we're going to react. And I don't know about you, but I want first responders. I don't want first reactors. And no one has ever turned to you and said, wow, you're really over-responding, you should calm down. We have knee-jerk reactions. These are the things that get us in trouble with our spouse, with the guy on the freeway, with the coworker. It's when we don't make that decision to respond. So that's what this pause is. It also brings us back to this present moment. And in this present moment, there is no stress. The stress is behind us and things we're thinking about from the past. And in the future, of these things that we're worried about that we don't even know if it's going to happen. Because we've all woken up in the middle of the night with those what ifs. Why are we doing that to ourselves? If as we're walking out of the door Friday night, the boss looks at us and says, I want to see you first thing Monday morning. Oh boy, there goes the weekend. But it's our fault at that point for bringing the boss home with us. He's not still there following us around. It's really up to us what we want to think about all weekend. And I have had clients tell me that they hate Sunday because they're so worried about going back to work Monday. At that point, that's not the silly coworker and that's not the bad boss. That's you bringing him home with you. So in that pause, in that blank moment, you have a choice. And I advise you, I encourage you, I'll even beg you to do the best you can to stay present in this moment. Because that's all we have. We can't predict or change what's going to happen outside of ourselves. So I guess I should explain what stress is, not that you guys don't know that, but I like this definition because stress is a perception that demands are going to exceed our resources. Or it's a threat, real or imagined. And sure, when we were being chased by bears, we had this very specific fight or flight response. We needed that. It allowed us to survive to this point. But ask yourself, is this situation fight or flight worthy? Is the boss saying, I want to see you on Monday, does that actually warrant that huge chemical response of that fight or flight response? It typically doesn't. So this is where the idea of perception comes in. People perceive stress differently. I do things to relax that you guys probably would not find all that relaxing, like flying trapeze. 30 feet in the air, flying through. I love it. That relaxes me. Most people don't think that's relaxing. But in our quest of perception, because we all view things differently, let's look at this. So how many of you see the vase in the center? Couple? Yep. How many of you see the two old faces looking at each other? Mm-hmm. And how many of you see the Hispanic couple playing music and the woman coming out of the doorway to dance? I love this one because where you put your focus, that's what you see. And I know that sounds kind of silly. Of course, where you put your focus, that's what you see. But you have the ability to look at whatever you want. So you can look at all the negative stuff that's happening, you can focus on that bad day you're having, or you can look at something beautiful. And where's Steve? I actually did a TEDx talk, and in my TEDx I tell the story of getting stranded on the side of the road in England, and how I made the choice to actually turn and look at the beautiful scenery around me rather than ruining the fact that the truck ran me off the road in the first place. I choose where I put that focus, and you do too. And sometimes our perception is just downright wrong. So I have a question for all of you. I'm just going to have you shout out the answer to this. What color is a yield sign? Yellow. Right? It's been red since 1973. We're not driving in 1973. Some of you weren't born in 1973, and that upsets me just a little bit. We are sure that the stop sign is yellow, the yield sign's yellow. And when I first saw a speaker do this, I yellow. Oh, I'm an idiot, okay. And I thought, I must be the only one. I must be the only one that thinks the yield sign is yellow. So I went home to my husband, and I just asked, I said, hey, what color is a yield sign? And he goes, well, it's yellow. And I went, no, it's weird, it's actually red. And he looks at me and he goes, well, it should be yellow. So I made some calls, I'm going to see what I can do. But sometimes we so believe that something's true and it's just downright wrong. And our perception is colored by how we were raised, by what kind of day we had, by whether we have that ability to respond or react. Because isn't the guy on the freeway so much more of a jerk when he cuts us off if we've already had a bad, stressful day? That's that responding versus reacting. So here's the rest of the quiz. So, do you guys find this stressful? Skydiving? Stressful? No? I've been a couple times, it's really fun. Okay. How about that? Stressful? Yeah, I don't want it on me, it's big. Flying trapeze, who's coming with me? Santa Monica Pier, flying through the air. Tracy, I know you're in. Okay, how about the cat? Oh, cue the awe. Anybody find the cat stressful? There's always a few, so that's totally fine. No one? Okay. So what if you are a severe asthmatic and your trigger's cat dander? This could be incredibly stressful to you, and they did the coolest study, and I'm a total nerd for studies. They took 50 asthmatics, and they handed them blankets and sheets and stuff filled with cat dander and said, please put this on your face. And they did. And they had asthma attacks, and some needed their inhaler, and some needed their EpiPen, which is quite an investment in this day and age. And some had to go to the doctor, and they were having all these reactions, and it turned out the blankets were completely clean, right out of the bag, had never been near a cat. We have this amazing ability to change our physiology by what we're thinking about, by what we're being told. So if we have the ability to have a full-blown asthma attack, which is a physiological response, by being told that we're exposed to cat dander, what kind of power do we have over our bodies? And in studying and reading all the studies that I do, I found that there's good evidence that we can actually lower our blood pressure by meditation and relaxing, by visualizing things, by doing affirmations. And when I do my full stress workshop, I teach 5 techniques. You're only going to get 2 today because they didn't give me 5 hours, but we have the ability to make changes in our bodies. Now, I'm not saying don't ever go back to your doctor, but if you can help your own health, if you can help your level of relaxation by even 5 or 10%, why would you not take that? Do you all want to be 5 or 10% healthier than you are now? Yeah. Now this is the next one. This is the last of the quiz. This is a terrifying one, so I'm just going to flip through it really quick. I don't want anyone to freak out. Okay. Is everyone all right? Okay. I was audited once by the terrifying. Okay. These are just a couple of things that fail when we're stressed. Our memory goes out the window because when we're running from a bear, we don't have to remember where our car keys are. We just have to run. Our sexual response, our digestion, our tendency to accept responsibility if we do something wrong. So if we're already in a stress state, we don't have the ability to go, dude, I'm so sorry I did that. That was totally my fault. So women, it's not our fault that we put the groceries so close to the edge of the counter. It's our husband's fault for knocking them down. Sorry, guys. This is what happens. And then we don't have that ability to respond. We have that reaction. And all this gets us into trouble. Now, what can we do about stress? I already taught you the breath technique. I'm a big fan of affirmations, visualizations, mindfulness practices. Here's the deal with this though. I don't care what you do. I really don't care what you do to relax, what you do to decrease your stress, but please do something. Maybe I'm giving you all permission right now to not have to do yoga if you don't want to. I do not like yoga. And for some reason that has become the, I need to relax, you should do yoga. I need to stretch, you should do yoga. I don't like yoga. If you do like yoga, go do it. If you don't have to. Go do trapeze, walk your dog, go wine tasting. I don't care. I have a girlfriend, her idea of relaxing is she lays in a chaise lounge. And that's what she does. And I wonder who put her in timeout and when she can get up. Why is she not reading a book or doing her to-do list? I don't know why it's not for me. I'm a little type A. Those of you who know me know that very well. So do whatever works for you. And I want to talk just briefly about meditation. I'm learning to relax. I want to relax better and faster. I want to be on the cutting edge of relaxation. This is me, and I had all these misconceptions about meditation. Do we have any meditators? A few? Beautiful. People always said to me, you should meditate, you should meditate, you should meditate. And I've learned that any sentence that starts with you should is immediately thrown out the window. You should breathe in and out. No! Okay, good. So when people told me to meditate, no one ever told me what that looked like, why to do that. And so I had these misconceptions. I thought you had to sit a certain way. Now that part I could do because I'm a dancer, so I had the sitting with the legs across the part down. And then you touch your fingers together, and I wasn't sure which one, and I didn't know if you did the wrong one, you got sucked into an alternate realm, like a video game or something. And then you rolled your eyes back in your head, which always gave me a headache, and then you breathed a certain way, and you put your tongue somewhere, I never figured that part out, and then you floated away into a million bubbles. And if something itched, you couldn't scratch it. That's what I thought meditation was. And every time I tried it, I failed miserably. Because inevitably something would itch, or my mind would get distracted, and I'd hear a car, and then I'd remember I needed an oil change, and Or, I got really good at this one. I'd get into the meditation. Oh, I gotta call that guy back. And I started to call it my to-do list meditation. Which I thought was great, because as a type A, only child, triple Capricorn, competitive person, this is fabulous. So every day I would do my to-do list meditation. I was very productive. And then I realized, oh, that's not what it's for? Oh. So I found myself sitting at Harvard, and the instructor that day, she was incredible. And it was the afternoon session of the first day, and we'd learned about fMRIs, and we'd learned about mindfulness, and we learned about all this great stuff. And she showed up for the afternoon session, and she said, now we're going to meditate. And I thought, oh, crap. And she talked like this. It was very soothing, and very comforting, and very, very slow. And I spent like the first half hour going, finish your sentence! It's driving me crazy. And she said, now we're going to meditate. And I went, ugh. And I was sitting in the front row because I'm that person. About 150 physicians in the room with me, which was a little intimidating because I'm not a physician, I'm the alternative medicine person. She said, how many of you meditate? So I turned and looked, and a couple hands went up. She said, oh, great. How many of you think you can't meditate? And she stared at me like I had a giant type A on my chest or something. And I looked up at her and I kind of tentatively raised my hand and she went, which I thought was very judgy for someone teaching meditation. So she said, now here are the rules of meditation. And I thought, oh, here we go with the legs and the fingers and the bubbles and the itching. And she said there were 2 rules of meditation. And I thought, 2? Okay, I could maybe do 2. Hopefully one is the sitting, because I got that one down. 2 rules of meditation. Concentrate on something repetitive, and when thoughts intrude, not if, because they will. That's what our brains do. That's what they're made to do. Dismiss them without judgment and return to what you were concentrating on. So this is the mini meditation, and I want to teach it to you all right now. So go ahead and close your eyes. And just like we did the first exercise, you're just going to concentrate on your breath. And you're not trying to slow it down or speed it up. You're just observing it. And on your next inhale, think, I am. And on all of your inhales, think, I am. And on your next exhale, think, at peace. And on all of your exhales, think, at peace. Inhale, I am. Exhale, at peace. And if other thoughts intrude, which they will, just dismiss them without judgment. Let them float away like clouds on a summer day, and return to the inhale, I am, and the exhale, at peace. Go ahead and do one more big breath. Inhale, I am. Exhale, at peace, and open your eyes and come back to the room. That's pretty easy. Isn't that easy? And I realized that doing this, I could do it. And when she said, we did this maybe for 5 minutes the first time, and she said, open your eyes and come back to the room, and I went. And then I realized she actually wasn't talking. And she was waiting for me. So I finally opened my eyes and she was looking at me and she gave me this kind of knowing, because she got me. It felt so good, I didn't want to open my eyes. And this has become the gateway drug for me, if you will. I can now sit on the pillow and meditate, and I do a silent retreat every year down in LA, where for 72 hours I meditate with monks, sometimes for 2 hours at a time. And I have floated away into a million bubbles, and it is freaking unbelievable. But it's allowed me to be healthier, it's allowed me to be calmer, it's allowed me to change my focus so that I can be more in the present moment and choose that responding rather than reacting. And that helps not only me, but everybody around me, my communication, my relationships. So we have a choice as to where we put our focus. What do you want to create in your life? I'm going to be on the right side of the bus for this journey. I hope you'll join me. I'm Kathy Gruver, and I appreciate your time. Thanks.